What's up, vinyl community? This is Drop the Needle Records coming at you with another video. This week I'm super excited because I get to do my first album review of the Smiles' new album. If you've been watching my channel, you know that I've been waiting for this album to come out. We have Wall of Eyes, and I'm getting ready to let you know what I thought about it. But before I get started, if you would help me out, subscribe to my channel, like the video, and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about what I put out. So let's get to it. This week, we have the Smiles' new album, which just dropped on Friday, Wall of Eyes. So I've got a lot of different ways I've reviewed this album. But the Smile consists of Tom York and Johnny Greenwood from Radiohead and Tom Skinner. This is their second album. The first album was Light Causing Attraction, which is fantastic. I love that album. So let me give you a little bit of backstory about this. The bass parts on this album were done by Johnny and Tom. You can kind of tell that there is Johnny's influence on this album because of the film scores he has done. He's done film scores for Power of the Dog and some of Paul Thomas Anderson's film. That's probably where some of the orchestral arrangements have come from. The cool thing, though, is Tom York just scored his first film, which was called Trust. I think it's an Italian film. Haven't checked it out yet, but I definitely look forward to checking that out, and maybe I can do a review on that as well. But the cool thing about this album is they released a film to go along with it. I was disappointed because it was only available in 2 U.S. cities. I want to say it was in New York and California. It was released other places around the world, but hopefully that is something that they can re-release in theaters. I know that they just dropped the videos that go along with the album yesterday, so I'll be getting to that as well. But the cool thing that I got to experience was on Thursday, I went to a listening party at my local record store, and I was able to pick up a few items that went with the experience. One of the things I got was a Smile sticker, which is cool. They also gave away a poster for the Wall of Eyes that looks like this on the front. And on the back, it's actually the inside of the gatefold of the album as well. So that's kind of cool. Another cool thing about the experience was you got to purchase the album early on that Thursday. So if you purchased the album, you were able to get an art print, which I'm pretty stoked about. It's pretty cool. And then the album itself. So you have the Wall of Eyes. This is the inside of the gatefold. You have the back, which is a real cool experience, I think. And this is kind of a common theme if you watch the video of the songs. And then the record sleeve is this. And on the back, you have all of the liner notes, the lyrics to the songs. And then the vinyl, I got the indie exclusive vinyl, which is nice. It's very cool. So the experience was really nice. I enjoyed it. They had some door prizes. Unfortunately, my name did not get drawn. I was really hoping to get my name drawn for the zine. And the zine is kind of like a newspaper that went along with the album that they released in the theaters. Saw what it looked like, but unfortunately didn't get my name drawn for that. But it was a very cool experience because I got to be around some other Smile fans. I was able to talk about my experience, about seeing them in concert over the summer, which was fantastic. It was so good. I really, really enjoyed that show. But kind of a cool thing about the album was it was produced at Abbey Road Studios. That's where they recorded. The producer was Sam Petz Davies. Sam Petz Davies is actually a different producer on this album, but he's connected to Tom. He produced his soundtrack Suspiria Strings and kind of, was able to record with him on previous albums. So it's not as if it was a brand new person. Another thing about this album that was different from the first is you had the London Symphony Orchestra recording a lot of the strings that went with the album. But I listened to the album. I kind of like to give you my experience of each song. So what you're going to hear, or not hear, but you're going to hear me talk about is my experience from my stream, because I streamed it. I also listened to it on vinyl and also listened to it through headphones. So the first song is Wall of Eyes, which is the name of the album. It was a great opening track. You get an acoustic guitar at the very beginning. Thought at first it was a ukulele, possibly, but after hearing it on vinyl, I'm pretty confident it's an acoustic guitar. There was a really good touch with the bass drums in the background. Tom's vocals are absolutely amazing, and you're going to hear me say that throughout the whole album. The orchestra background are quite breathtaking, and then you have the bass drums that are coming in and out. And then you have a little bit of him just starting to count. I want to say he's counting to 5 throughout the middle of the song, but he starts counting and kind of gives a really cool experience with that song. And then the sounds just kind of go all over the place. And in the end, it kind of blends in at the end. It's really great. Then kind of watch the video with it. The video with the song is they have a wall frame at the beginning, and there's like a big, huge eyeball with it. It's really cool. It starts off with Tom black and white, and then it kind of just goes into different colors, flashes back to black and white, shows him at a bar, and at points it just shows eyes everywhere. Kind of goes with the song Wall of Eyes. He starts having a lot of conversations with himself. It shows scrolling and him having conversations with himself. It's really cool. That was kind of neat to see that, how that song goes with the album. Then after I heard it on vinyl, I was able to hear a lot more layers to the song listening to the vinyl, at least in my listening room that I have with the vinyl. It was even better than when I heard it through headphones and streaming it. But the echoes is what really stands out when I listen to it on vinyl. So the next song is Teleharmonic. From the very beginning, there's like a great drony sound, a little bit of an ambient experience. The drumstick, which I'm assuming is Tom Skinner on the edge of the snare, is fantastic. I love that feel to it. Then all of a sudden you get a touch of a little bit of an electronic experience, electronic feel. And then you get a blend of a flute coming in, which is great. And again, Tom's vocals on this are great. He is on point with this song, with his vocals. Then when listening to it through video, the video kind of just shows flowing of color, like flowing like a river, and different parts of the song, the colors will change to darker versions and are flowing into grays and going into bright and dark. Gives the song a brand new experience when you watch the video to it. And then when I listened to it on vinyl, I heard even more layers of that drone sound in the beginning, which was great. The voice seems a lot more up front, and the other sounds are just kind of surrounding you on the vinyl, which was amazing to me. There's a lot going on with this track when I heard it on vinyl that I didn't hear through my other versions of listening. The variety, though, of the percussion, I heard a lot more on the vinyl too, and the sound just like surrounds you completely, which I loved. I was just blown away by Teleharmonic when listening to it on vinyl. Then you go into Read the Room, and this takes me right back to Radiohead, why I fell in love with the band. This song took me there right away as soon as I heard the opening song. You get a lot of that opening electric guitar that you get, which was so good. You get the keyboard and the orchestra moment in there that just sort of fades back, and then you get the guitar again, which I just loved it. And then Tom, of course, is on the vocals, is fantastic. Really pick up on Tom Skinner's drumming on this track. And then all of a sudden at the end, you just kind of get like a jam. It seems like a good jam is the best way I could put it. And then Tom's voice just kind of blending in and out was just so good. Loved it. Then when I watched the video to the track, there was a lot of mountains going on, the hills and the different colors with the mountains and the hills. They would go into dark and then blend back into the original colors. Then they started blending into each other, back to bright again, back to the dark. It was really cool. And then some things I picked up when listening to it on vinyl was there was the guitar just kind of took up the outside of you, and the bass and the vocals were right up front, and so were the percussion. And the end of it on vinyl was just an amazing experience on my system that I was listening it to. I love that. Really love that track. And track number 4 was Under Our Pillows. Again, loved it because it took me right back to Radiohead again. I get that Radiohead feel with the guitar. Skinner on the drums was absolutely sick on it. He was great. Of course, you had Johnny on the guitar, which was fantastic. Love the lyrics of this one and that were going on in the background and how Tom sings it, which is kind of cool. And all of a sudden, everything starts slowing down and begins fading away a little bit and starts building back up again and gets amped with the bass guitar and the background noise, and the orchestra starts blending in. And when I heard this song, I was like, wow, this is probably one of my favorite tracks on the album so far. It had a real wild ending to it. Kind of thought about, okay, from my experience, maybe it's kind of like a dream sequence. Didn't know. I would highly suggest everybody to listen to that track, Under Our Pillows. It was so good. And then at the very end, you get like a screeching orchestra feeling, which was great. Then when I watched it on video, you have a scrolling painting. Starts with solid eyes that are on the hills and they're moving. Their small eyes go into big, and they start lighting up the color to the dark color again, back to the light color, kind of goes into the sun with the neon colors, and it has that inside gatefold that I showed at the beginning going on with the video, which was cool, which was great. Then when I listened to it on vinyl, that electric guitar, I could really hone in on. I could start hearing the different layers of Tom's voice, which was absolutely sick. I thought it was fantastic. And then in the ending on the vinyl, I was blown away. So I said it was one of my favorite tracks. After listening to it on vinyl, I was pretty much under the assumption that, wow, so far this is my favorite track on the album. Then you have track 5, Friend of a Friend. If you haven't watched the video of Friend of a Friend yet, it's really cool. It has the band performing in front of a group of kids. I don't know if they're kind of like in an auditorium type thing or not, but it has the band playing in front of the children. It's pretty funny. It's good to see their expressions while listening to it. When I watched the video, it took me back to seeing them over the summer because all of a sudden they start doing a light show experience, and to see the kids' faces, how they interacted with that light show was kind of cool. Johnny has great piano playing on this album. The orchestra blended in with it. It was a really good touch. And Skinner on the drums, just you kind of saw that jazz influence that he brings to the band on this one. It was a cool change to the track list so far. I really love that. But the vinyl, when I listened to it on vinyl, you could tell that the vocals were really up front. You had the piano that was on the outside. It was a really nice touch that I liked. The orchestra sound when listening to it on vinyl was even a better experience on this track. That was great. It was great on vinyl for sure. Then you have track 6, which is I Quit. Comes in with a good acoustic track right away, acoustic sound, and then you have a piano kind of blended in with it. It kind of fades in, fades out, and then all of a sudden you get that ambient and drone feeling start blending in with it. Tom's vocals again were a good touch. The piano becomes very subtle, which is kind of cool. I like that when it became real subtle. And then the orchestra starts coming in again. And then what I thought I heard was in the middle of it, just a really cool, deep breath. Felt like a big, which was kind of cool in the middle of the album. Then you had various drum beats. I kind of took notes on that. There were a lot of various drum beats were kind of cool. Then in the video, there was a scrolling pic of mountains again with the eyes. You maybe had some water underneath those mountains. You had a tan background with blinking eyes on the mountains, which was a cool touch to the track, which was kind of neat. And then on vinyl, I loved hearing the track even more. You kind of feel like I'm repeating myself with the vinyl experience. You could really hear those drum beats varying throughout, and I heard a lot more guitar strumming sounds, which were wild. That was great. Then you had a lot more echoes with the voice. The electronic sounds on the vinyl experience stand out even more. Then track 7, you had Bending Hectic, which the band played when I saw them in concert over the summer. The bending strings at the very, very beginning, and you hear chimes, were amazing from the opening start of the track. And you had Tom's vocals, which were real breathtaking on this. The orchestra comes in, it's fantastic. There's a cool, just this cool vibe that I just kind of took notes on being set up on this track. Goes into an electric part toward the end, becomes real chilling. It's kind of took note of it's really hectic, which I kind of made me laugh out loud when I wrote that. The video, when you listen to the track, there's a lot of yellow going on at the beginning. It goes into like a blue metallic. You have Bending Hectic, so it looks kind of hectic going on with the color. The colors start flowing in like streams, and they fade in and fade out. The layers start becoming embedded. They have really cool movements. And then it just kind of, I took note of it, it just became like a trippy type of experience, which kind of like with Bending Hectic, it kind of gets that vibe. When I listened to it on vinyl, the chimes really stood out to me, really up front. The orchestra this time is on the outside of my speakers. It just kind of really stood out. The Skinner starts having little subtle drums, which sound even better on vinyl. That was great. I really like Bending Hectic on the vinyl experience. And then the last track is You Know Me. Real piano at the beginning and just a drum beat, which is kind of cool. Very slow, has a different vibe from the other tracks. When I listened to it and took notes the first time, I said, have to spend more time with this song. Second time I wrote down, I said it becomes a lot drony and ambient later on. And in the video, when I was listening to the song, it starts with like a tan map landscape, and it starts scrolling across the screen, and it switches to a dark black landscape with those same images, which was really nice. So when I listened to it on vinyl, that ambient drone vibe came out more on that experience, and that kind of wrapped up the song for me. I can't get enough of this album. It's definitely my album of the year. I will sing its praises already. If you're on the fence about picking it up, I highly suggest you pick it up. I hope that they release it in the theater. I would love it. But to kind of sum it up, I streamed it 4 times. Once in my car and 3 times by headphones. I really loved the experience through my headphones. And then I also listened to it in the listening party, listened to it twice by vinyl, and then I listened to it twice by video. And the video gives the album a whole different experience. So they actually released it on the Smiles page on YouTube, so you can stream it, not stream it, but watch it on their channel. So the whole album, it's a different way to take in the album, which is kind of cool. But my favorite way to listen to the album is on vinyl. It sounds great. It's produced great. I really am pleased. It'll be kind of hard for an album to beat this for me, for sure. So I really hope that the band comes in through the States. I'd really like to hear them play this album live for sure. But again, for a sophomore release, they're on point. But again, if you stayed this long, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully I brought in a different type of people in to enjoy the video. But again, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Talk to me about the Smile. What's your experience with the Smile? What's your experience with Radiohead? Hoping one day I can see Radiohead if they get back together live. But until we see each other again, peace.